It's a beautiful Monday morning in the city of Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki, and I begin with the front pages of the dailies, starting with Vanguard. Vanguard leading story says economy industrialization in jeopardy as agri manufacturing sink, as services sector takes driving seats. Manufacturing loses 1.2 trillion naira in 5 years, as according to reports. FDI implements amid warning investors' confidence. Rebasing exposes sector structural weaknesses according to Man. Nigeria struggling with deindustrialization, says NESG. Manufacturing should contribute 40% to GDP. That's coming from ECHO. You can see that story on page 19. On page 5, imported steel products drain over $4 billion foreign exchange annually. That's according to Minister. Governor Abdul Razak declares war on kidnappers, bandits after deadly attack. You can see that on page 6. And on page 8, Labour tackles federal government over proposed pay rise for political office holders. Intrigues as Benue Assembly elects a new speaker. Falana to EFCC. Return recovered 32.7 billion naira, $445,000 loot to NSIPA. That story can be seen on page 9. ADC to Tinubu declares state of emergency in Katsina, Zamfara, over insecurity. And directly above the banner on page 26, NBA conference, Sultan Mba Malema tasked lawyers on justice protection of poor. Gridlock, Lagos artwork on Ogudu Ifako Bridge. Insecurity, consent stakeholders decry killing of 10,217 persons in just 2 years. Lastly, on Vanguard newspaper, Utah, 131% surge in airfares to Southeast, South sparked passengers' outcry. That story can be seen on page 9. Away from that, we move to The Guardian. The Guardian leading story says Malema, Africa's future dependent on political economy in Nigeria, South Africa. NNPCL deducts 235.6 billion naira in 7 months for oil search in North Frontier basins. Yoruba elders appeal to Oni Alaafin to end rifts. You can see that on page 5. On newspage 29, federal government 1 trillion naira needed yearly to sustain school feeding program. Nigeria Medical Association, Lagos threatens solidarity strike over unpaid salaries and welfare. Top banner on page 3, airfares, opposition leaders collapse Kaduna SDP into ADC. News page 3 of The Guardian has that story. Now let's move to The Punch. The Punch major headline says sick and stranded. Presidential order fails to curb soaring drug prices. Essential medicine still unaffordable despite tax waivers. Pharmacies struggle amid weak naira. Pregnancy faking widow napped with cocaine in Lagos. Federal government begins phase 2 of 12,000 megawatt Siemens power project. Above the banner, locals beg federal government as Osun Ondo federal roads crumble. You can see that on news page 14. And lastly, the nation's major headline says Nigeria, Brazil to seal deals in aviation, livestock, other sectors. Tinubu on 2-day visit. A South-South synergy will generate investment and millions of jobs. New debt financing strategy reduce foreign exposures. 6 dead, 19 rescued in another boat accident. Above the banner, the left side, we have foreign portfolios rose to 1.3 trillion naira in 7 months. Alake, investing in Nigeria's mining sector, profitable. Lastly, on the Nation newspaper, Africans will be better off with single economy. You can see that story on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies. Join us after the break for a brief analysis of some of the stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, this is Today the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshak. Some domestic airlines, they've raised ticket prices to the Southeast and South regions by 131% ahead of the Yuletide. The price adjustments, which usually take effect mostly from December 1, come 4 months to the Christmas and New Year season, when airlines usually experience higher demand. Findings by Vanguard show that Nigeria's largest airline, Airpeace, has jacked up its one-way economy ticket from Lagos to Asaba in Delta State from 147,000 naira to 337,500 naira. Now, Lagos to Enugu and Benin in Edo State on a one-way economy ticket, the carrier's fare increased simultaneously from 145,000 to 335,500 naira, while Abuja to Benin also increased from 145,000 to 335,000 naira. While for United Nigeria, a one-way economy ticket from Lagos to Enugu will increase from 125,000 naira to 335,500 naira starting from December 11. Meanwhile, some passengers who spoke to Vanguard, they expressed frustrations, saying that despite insecurity concerns, they might have to resort to road transportation. We also have prices from other lines here in Vanguard, including Ibom Air. And you can always check Vanguard newspaper and our website. Away from that, let's talk about Falana and the EFCC. Now, Senior Advocate of Nigeria and human rights lawyer Femi Falana, he has called on the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) to transfer the sum of 32.7 billion naira and $445,000 recovered from officials of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development to the National Social Investment Program Agency for proper use. Falana made the call in public statement issued on August 24, 2025 under the banner of the Alliance on Surviving COVID-19 and Beyond, which he shares. He recalled that in January 2025, President Bola Tinubu approved 32.7 billion for the implementation of the National Social Investment Program, which includes school feeding, NPower, conditional cash transfers, and small business support under the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program. He noted that while the EFCC had earlier recovered the exact sum of 2.7 billion naira and an additional $445,000 from allegedly corrupt officials within the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry, the funds are yet to be redirected to the NSIPA, despite the EFCC's stated efforts, a stated policy of ensuring that recovered funds are returned for their intended use. And according to him, the Federation Account Allocation Committee (FAAC) shared 2.001 trillion naira in July 2025. You can get more of that on the Vanguard newspaper. Now let's end it on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. this morning. And the first person speaking today is Mrs. Mrs. says, each time I look at the dark sky at night, I feel like touching a star. And Mr. replied, what if I made you touch a wad of crepes, new naira notes? And Mrs. replied, I will hug a star like I'm doing now. And if you have a copy of the paper, of course, you see them hugging. We're talking about new naira note now. You know the smell. The smell is different. The crispness in your hand is different. Of course, we expect Mrs. will continue to hug Mr. like a star. And that's it from Mr. and Mrs. But this is where we have to draw the curtain. My name is Damlola Ogunshakin. Do want to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. You can also visit our website, www.vanguardngr.com. Have a lovely Monday.